Every year, more than 100,000 pet owners find out the hard way that the stuff they put out to kill rodents also killed their dog. Not the rat, the dog. I know that because I spent 38 years in practice, and I'll tell you right now, rodenticide poisoning was not a rare case in my clinic. It was almost monthly. A good dog, a good owner, and a green block of bait behind the fridge that somebody forgot to mention to the family. Here's what the box doesn't print on the front label: the same compound that makes a rat bleed out internally will do the exact same thing to your 60-pound Labrador if he finds it first. And he will find it because the manufacturers make it smell like food. That's how it works. Today, I'm going to give you the complete protocol I actually used: how to clear every rat and mouse from your property, fast and completely, without putting a single thing inside your home that can hurt your dog or your cat. No poison, no guesswork. And most of it costs you less than $10 total. But first, let me tell you what happened to a woman named Ruth, because Ruth's story is the reason I stopped keeping quiet about this. Ruth came into my clinic on a Thursday morning in October. She had a 7-year-old Cocker Spaniel named Biscuit. Well-loved dog, good weight, healthy coat, bright eyes. She was shaking when she walked in. Biscuit had been vomiting since the night before, and his gums had gone pale, almost white. I knew what I was looking at before I even ran blood work. She'd put out rat bait 3 days earlier. The green kind, the one in the blue cardboard box. She'd placed it under the kitchen sink in what she called a safe spot. Biscuit had pushed the cabinet door open, something she didn't even know he could do, and eaten a portion of the bait sometime. That first night, by the time she noticed something was wrong, his blood wasn't clotting anymore. We saved Biscuit. It took vitamin K1 therapy for 4 weeks, 2 follow-up visits, and a bill just shy of $1,400. Ruth paid every cent and never complained. But she asked me something before she left that I've never forgotten. She said, "Why didn't anyone tell me?" And I didn't have a good answer, because the information exists. The science exists. Every veterinary toxicologist in this country knows what these products do to non-target animals. The ASPCA Poison Control Center has ranked rodenticide poisoning in the top 10 pet toxins year after year. The Merck Veterinary Manual documents it in precise clinical detail. The manufacturers know it. The retailers know it. But the box still says pet safe, bait station on the side, and people buy it because they trust what's printed on a label. Let me tell you exactly what these products actually contain, because the language matters. There are 4 main types of rodenticide active ingredients on the market right now, and not one of them is safe for your dog or cat. The most common ones are called anticoagulants compounds like brodifacoum and bromadiolone. These are blood thinners, but far more aggressive than anything used in human medicine. They work by blocking vitamin K in the body, which is the nutrient that allows blood to clot. A rat eats the bait, internally bleeds over the course of several days, and dies. The problem is that the same mechanism works identically in your dog or cat, and with some of these compounds, brodifacoum in particular, it takes only a very small amount to cause full poisoning in a dog. The worst part is the timing. These anticoagulants are what toxicologists call slow acting. Your dog can eat the bait on Monday and not show any symptoms until Thursday. By Thursday, he's bleeding internally, and you don't know why, because you've already forgotten about the trap under the sink. The second type is bromethylin. This one doesn't thin the blood. Bromethylin attacks the nervous system directly. It causes swelling of the brain. Cerebral edema is the medical term, and the toxic dose is shockingly low, especially in cats. A cat that eats a poisoned mouse that ate bromethylin bait can suffer neurological damage from that secondary exposure alone. Muscle tremors, seizures, loss of coordination, in severe cases, death within hours. The third type is cholecalciferol. You might recognize that name. It's vitamin D3. In normal amounts, vitamin D3 is healthy. In the concentrated doses found in rodenticide bait, it drives calcium levels in the blood through the roof, causing soft tissue throughout the body to calcify and harden. The kidneys take the worst of it. Signs show up 18 to 36 hours after ingestion: excessive thirst, large amounts of urination, then vomiting blood. There is no specific antidote for cholecalciferol rodenticide poisoning. Treatment is supportive, expensive, and not always successful. If you have ever put any of these products anywhere on your property, under sinks, in the garage, along the fence line, in the barn, anywhere, and you have a dog or cat with access to those areas, I need you to go find that bait right now and remove it. Don't wait until this video is over. And if you've ever lost a dog or cat unexpectedly and could never quite get a straight answer about why, if the vet said something about organ failure or internal bleeding and it didn't quite add up, I want you to sit with what I just told you for a moment. Now, here is what actually works. Here's the protocol I built over decades of watching what the farm families around my practice did and what the old timers knew before poison became the default answer. The foundation of any rodent control that lasts is exclusion. That means you stop letting them in before you worry about the ones already inside. Every rat and every mouse in your home entered through a physical gap. They can compress their bodies through a hole the size of a quarter. Mice can fit through a gap the width of a pencil. Those are not figures of speech, that is anatomy. So the first step is a walk around the entire perimeter of your home. You are looking for gaps where pipes or wires enter the wall, cracks in the foundation, spaces under doors, deteriorated weather stripping, and any opening around vents or eaves. Every one of those gaps gets packed with steel wool and then sealed over with caulk. Steel wool specifically, not foam, not cloth, not wood. Rodents cannot chew through tightly packed steel wool. It shreds their mouths. Foam and wood they will chew through in a single night. While you're doing that walkabout, look at your yard. Piles of wood stacked against the house, bags of mulch left on the ground, overgrown vegetation touching the foundation, all of that is rodent housing. Clear it back, keep firewood stacked away from the house and elevated off the ground. Trim any tree branches that hang over the roof line, because roof rats use those like a bridge. Inside the house, food is everything. Rodents are not moving in because your home is comfortable. They are moving in because your home has food they can reach. Pet food bowls left out overnight are one of the most common reasons rodents establish inside a home with pets. I know that can be hard to hear if you free feed your dog or cat, but I watched it play out too many times to be polite about it. Pick up the bowl when the meal is done. Store the bag of kibble in a sealed, hard plastic or glass container, not the paper bag it came in, because a mouse will have that bag open in under 2 minutes. Same for birdseed, corn, any grain product in the pantry. Everything goes in airtight containers with lids that cannot be pushed off. Once you've cut the entry points and cut the food supply, you deploy traps. And here is where I part ways with a lot of the pest control industry, which would rather sell you a monthly service than tell you what your grandfather already knew. The standard snap trap, the simple wooden and metal design that has existed for over 100 years, is still one of the most effective rodent control tools available. It is fast, it is clean, it does not involve poison, and it costs about $1.50 at any hardware store. The trick most people don't know is placement and bait. Mice and rats do not run out into open floor space. They travel along walls, pressed against the baseboard, using the wall as a navigation guide. So you set your traps flush against the wall, bait end facing the wall, not the center of the room. Set them in pairs, 2 inches apart, because a mouse that jumps over one will trigger the second. For bait, peanut butter is excellent, a small amount pressed into the bait pedal, not piled on. Cooked bacon also works extremely well. Replace the bait every 2 to 3 days if the trap hasn't fired. Now, for pet safety with snap traps, placement is everything. Behind the refrigerator, inside cabinets with child-proof latches, inside the walls of a lower cabinet with a small entry hole cut specifically for rodents, under the stove, inside the attic space or crawl space, any location where your dog or cat cannot physically access. If you have a large breed dog that can reach under the refrigerator with his snout, put the trap inside an empty cereal box with small entry holes cut at floor level. The mouse smells the bait, enters the box, triggers the trap. Your dog can't get his nose in there. For the perimeter of your property, around the shed, along the fence line, near the compost bin, there are plastic tunnel trap housings, specifically designed to hold a snap trap inside a protective casing with small entry holes. They look like a little tube. The rodent enters, the dog cannot. These are available at any farm supply store for about $4, and they last for years. Let me say something about electronic traps, because they have gotten significantly better over the last decade. A good electric trap lures the rodent in with bait, delivers a high-voltage shock that kills instantly, and has a covered design that physically prevents a dog or cat from putting their face inside the kill chamber. They cost between $20 and $40, require only AA batteries, and can sit in the same spot for months. If you have a heavier infestation or you want a more hands-off solution, an electric trap inside a pantry cabinet or behind a wall is a legitimate option. Now for the natural deterrents that work as a layer on top of the mechanical ones. Peppermint oil is the one I have used personally and recommended for years. Rodents have an olfactory system that is roughly 40 times more sensitive than ours. The concentrated menthol compounds in pure peppermint oil are genuinely overwhelming to them. Soak cotton balls in undiluted peppermint oil and place them in the areas where you've found droppings inside cabinets, behind appliances, along the garage walls. Replace them every 2 weeks as the scent fades. This is not a standalone solution, but as a perimeter layer around your traps, it drives rodents toward the traps rather than away from your living areas. And pure peppermint oil at the concentrations used for repelling rodents is not harmful to dogs or cats in the way it's applied here. Small soaked cotton balls in areas the pets don't typically access. It is not something you'd want them chewing on in large amounts, but as a deterrent placement, it's safe. Cayenne pepper along the outside foundation and entry areas serves a similar purpose. Rodents will not cross a dense line of cayenne voluntarily. Their nasal passages react to the capsaicin compounds the way yours would react to a face full of pepper spray. You can also mix cayenne powder with water, bring it to a low boil, add a drop of dish soap to help it stick, let it cool, and spray it along the outside perimeter of your foundation and around the base of your garbage cans. Safe for your dog, safe for your cat, completely miserable for a rat. And then there's what I've always called the original solution, which is the one the farming families in my area never stopped using, a barn cat, or in the case of a suburban home, just a confident outdoor cat. The cat does not need to be a world-class hunter. The presence of a cat, the scent alone, is a rodent deterrent that works around the clock without any maintenance costs, without any bait to replace, without any risk to your dog. Generations of farm families across the Midwest kept their grain stores rodent-free with nothing more than 2 good cats. I have seen homeowners in Ohio and Tennessee go from serious infestations to zero evidence of rodents within 60 days of introducing a cat to the property. That is not folk wisdom. That is behavioral biology. Rodents detect predator scent and they relocate. Let me bring this together for you because this is your complete protocol. Step 1, walk the perimeter, find every gap, pack it with steel wool and caulk. This is the only permanent fix. Everything else is management. If you don't seal the entry, you are on a treadmill. Step 2, eliminate every food source. Pick up pet food bowls after meals. Seal all grain and dry food in hard containers. Secure your garbage cans. Clean up fallen fruit in the yard. Don't leave the compost open. Step 3, deploy snap traps or electric traps in all the right locations along walls, behind appliances, inside protective housings, in outdoor areas. Keep them away from your pets through placement, not through hope. Step 4, add a perimeter of peppermint oil cotton balls inside, cayenne pepper spray outside. Let the smell do the work around your traps. Step 5, if you have the lifestyle for it, a cat on the property eliminates the need for most of the above long term. That is an approach that will cost you less than $15 to fully implement, will not put your dog or cat at risk, will not put hawks and owls and neighborhood wildlife at risk, and will not result in a $1,400 vet bill like the one Ruth paid for Biscuit. If your dog or cat means as much to you as mine did to me, then the idea of putting something in your home that could kill them by accident just because the packaging made it look safe is not something you can sit with. I know you've been watching this channel, and I know what kind of person you are. You're the kind who wants to do it right. Stick with me. I put out a new video every day, and I've got 38 years of things this industry doesn't want you to hear. We're just getting started.